There are endless ways to make ragu. This is the chef way. Pancetta, this is going to permeate through into my vegetables and it's going to almost melt away into my veg. So our sofrito here is an Italian version of a mirepoix. So we're using carrots, onion and celery here, which is the classic. If you want a really beautiful, soft caramelization on our sofrito, really nice and pale, and we really want to accentuate the sweetness of the vegetables. A really brown, caramelized, roasted sofrito is going to give you bitterness in your end sauce, whereas we want it there as a really soft and sweet texture, hence why we're caramelizing it first. Just going to go in with a few cloves of garlic. Now I don't want to put this in at the start because it can burn a bit quicker and catch on the bottom. Then we're going to be ready to remove the sofrito. So the mince is going to go in. First of all, you're going to have to release all the water content, so it'll almost start to boil straight away. And we want to keep the heat nice and high to get rid of that liquid straight away so we can start the caramelization process as quick as possible. You need to keep sort of working it in the pan to break up the mince, because if you just leave it, it will form large clumps. And to get maximum flavor, we want maximum surface area. So we need to break up the mince as much as we can. You see how all this meat is basically gray? We're looking for a dark brown caramelization, the same way you would caramelize your steak. 80% of your flavor for your ragu is going to come from the browning on the meat. We're then going to go in with the pork belly. What we're mainly after from the belly is that breakdown of the collagen, which is going to enrich the sauce and give that really luxurious feel to the ragu. We're going to go in with our tomato puree next. And now again, we're going to caramelize the puree. We're looking for a deep red-brown color rather than this bright red. The next step is arguably my favorite one of the day, and it is milk. We found it in two recipes, one from Massimo Bottura and one from Marco Pierre White. Now, Massimo Bottura adds it at the beginning. A legendary 3-star Italian chef. So who am I to argue with his techniques? The milk is added at this stage to soften the meat fibers and help to tenderize the meat. So it's a tenderizing technique. Now, Marco's method is he actually adds milk at the end of the ragu, and it adds roundness and helps to bring the whole thing together. So we're going to incorporate both milk stages into our ultimate ragu. We're then going to go in with our red wine. We're going to turn the heat up slightly, and we're going to reduce the wine by 50%. And the wine is going to help to basically bring all of those flavors together. By the end of this stage, we should have a perfectly clean bottom of our pan, meaning that all of that flavor is enhanced into the ragu. We're going to add back in our sofrito. We're then going to go in next with our tomato passata, Parmesan rinds. So every time you've got Parmesan in your fridge and you grate it up, keep the rinds, and it's perfect to put into your ragu. So the Parmesan rinds, along with those two different levels of tomato we put in, are all going to add that natural MSG. Bay leaf, a small amount of nutmeg is going to help to round out the sauce. Once all of those aromats, Parmesan, tomatoes in, we're just going to top it up with stock. Now we want to cook this for a long time. The longer the better. So we're going to pop this in at 120 for about 4.5 hours. So the stock is reduced. You can see the caramelization on that meat. So now we're going to remove our Parmesan rind and our bay leaves. The milk for the end, which is the Marco method. We're then going to add a few knobs of butter. It's going to add a really nice gloss. That is the ultimate ragu.